Silva up top. I mean, I believe Jessica Silva is still playing for Gotham FC in the States, and we're going to expect a lot of speed from her.
The referee blows the whistle, and all the players take the knee to show their continued message. There's no room for racism in football, and we are underway then. Millie Bright launching the ball forward towards Rousseau, and Lucy Bronze in the box, sees it out for a corner. England corner within the opening 10 seconds. Good start, Karen.
It's exactly what I wanted to see, to be honest, Flo. Really trying to take the game as quickly as possible to Portugal.
Lauren James trots over to take this corner. Got her hair tied up in a tight bun. Ella Toon alongside her. Takes it short to a former teammate from Manchester United. 1-2. Slide tackle comes in, then the ball comes across. And it's headed out. Portugal clear. Only so far as Kira Walsh. She goes square to Park. Park prods it forward to Clinton. Bright start this from England. All the play in Portugal's defensive third, and it's back with Leah Williamson in the centre circle.
And it's a lovely, lovely start. I mean, Lucy Bronze is really in advance in this wide area on our right side, and Grace Clinton is just sitting in the gaps in the midfield alongside Kira Walsh at the moment.
Elsewhere in the group, Spain have beaten Belgium 3-2. A 92nd minute equaliser, 96th minute winner. England coming forward now. Bronze dinks the ball across the box. Grace Clinton on the edge, opts to shoot off a red shirt. And then Ella Toon's ball, looking for the run of Lauren James, is misdirected and goes out for a Portugal goal kick.
Well, immediately you can see that England are targeting this right side. Like I said, Lucy Bronze is really getting forward. Grace Clinton is coming over to link up the play, and it looks like they're trying to go 4v4, 4v3 on this near side to us, Flo.
2 minutes played. Portugal 0, England 0. But the Lionesses have started very brightly. And I tell you what, Karen, in the build-up, in the warm-up, I was watching England doing a bit of shooting practice, and they looked very sharp. Rousseau, James, they were thrashing them in really confidently. I always think that's a really good sign.
No, it certainly is. I think they are confident as the ball turns over.
And Portugal looking to come through. Jessica Silva played the ball through, looking for her strike partner, Diana Silva, but collected on the edge of the box by Mary Earps.
But there's that directness and that speed that we spoke about. Diana Silva was absolutely on fire in a club form for Sporting, and I think Jessica Silva is going to continue to keep playing those balls into the channels for her to run onto, but massive threat. So the back four better be wary.
2 players with over 100 caps for their side. 6 players in this Portugal team that have played over 100 times for Portugal. So a very experienced Portuguese side. They are missing Kika Nazareth, though, their player for Barcelona. She's on the bench. I was expecting to see her start as Lauren James picks up the ball on the left-hand side. She's trotted towards the edge of the box. She's dispossessed. It's now with Jessica Silva on the right flank, running at Millie Bright, powering past Millie Bright with bags of pace. Her ball across into the gloves of Mary Earps. But you spoke about pace, Karen Barzi, and Jessica Silva left Millie Bright for dead there.
Yeah, it's something that the back four is certainly going to have to be wary of, especially with the attacking fullbacks that we see. You know, Niamh Charles is getting forward to support the attack, and Portugal are going to try and expose that space in behind the fullbacks.
0-0, 3 minutes played here on 5 Live, but a really exciting start to this game in the Nations League. Mary Earps now on the ball, all yellow strip. It'd be so interesting to see who is Serena Wiegmann's #1 goalkeeper in the Euros, or if she does have a #1, if she's going to flip between Hannah Hampton and Mary Earps.
It's an intriguing one, it really is. I think flipping between goalkeepers in a major tournament is not the best way to go about it, to be honest. I think you want some consistency.
Lauren James thought she was fouled there on the halfway line. Free kick not given, and it's back with the Portuguese goalkeeper, Ines Pereira. She fires a long ball over the halfway line. Leah Williamson has no one around her, so lets that go all the way back to Earps. It's then fired out to Bronze. She tried a first time pass around the corner looking for Park. Off a red shirt and out for a throw-in for England. Lucy Bronze, England's most capped player in this squad and 7th in the all-time rankings as Ella Toon picks it up midway through the Portugal half. Slides it out to James on the left. James, so good at dribbling, such great close control, finds Ella Toon again. It's now with Chelsea's Keira Walsh. I nearly said Barcelona's Keira Walsh. She made the move in January from Barcelona to Chelsea, played 100 times. For Barcelona, though, big money move, despite the contract being up in the summer. That's how much Chelsea wanted to get her. 5 minutes played. Portugal 0, England 0.
And again, you see those combinations in the wide areas. It's 4v3. I think, the first 5, 10, 15 minutes even of the game is all about just feeling out the space, feeling out the opposition, trying to find out where you can play. And, England are switching possession, trying to get the defensive block of Portugal to shift. And I think it's been a great start for England so far.
Williamson fires it forward to Russo, her Arsenal teammate, turns away from 2 players, slides it through, looking for the run of Toon. Out came Ines Pereira, the goalkeeper, to snatch the ball up before Toon could get there.
It's a great little run from Ella Toon. She recognises the space in between the centre backs and she's on her way, and Alessia Russo recognises the pass, and it was just overhit ever so slightly, but it's the right idea.
They no longer play together at Manchester United, but Ella Toon and Alessia Russo, very good friends, and they link up very well together. Niamh Charles comes across and just blocks the path of Silva. England have the ball back now with Mary Earps in the England penalty box. Small stadium this, as we said, but the pitch is pristine, glistening in the rain here. Floodlights on. Rain coming down just in a light drizzle now. Perfect pitch, perfect conditions as Leah Williamson touches the ball with the outside of her foot and drives forward, slides it towards Grace Clinton. Overhit pass and it rolls out in front of Francisco Neto. He's the Portuguese manager. He's been in charge over a decade, since 2014. Knows a lot of these players very well, and they've really grown under him these past 10 years or so. Didn't always qualify for major tournaments, but they want to prove themselves.
And they certainly have over the last few years. I think, remember July 2023, just before the Women's World Cup, it was a send-off game and, finished 0-0, and it was a difficult challenge for the Lionesses. Very resolute in their structure and their defence, and as we've seen already tonight, Flo dropping into a back 5, and, they're going to make it difficult for England tonight.
Throw in out on the far side, midway inside Portugal's half. It's Ana Borges with the throw. She's Portugal's most capped female player. As Jessica Silva picks it up just inside her own half, drives over the halfway line, still coming forward Silva, so much pace. Lucy Bronze across. And then the ball forward from Marchao, overhit out for a goal kick. But you picked up on it, Jessica Silva, really, really pacey. And that's something that our back four, Lucy Bronze is quite pacey, but the rest of them...
Let's be honest, we're not renowned for speed, I think is the nicest way I can put it. But the thing I really like about what Millie Bright did there is her recovery run was a diagonal one that took Jessica Silva away from the goal and away from the threat. And ultimately, she overplayed the ball and Lucy Bronze was in comfortable possession, or out for a goal kick.
Jessica Park just with her back into a player, wins the throw-in midway inside England's half. Still 0-0 here, 8 minutes played on Radio 5 Live. Another throw-in up to Russo, who tries to turn away from the defender, and she's done well there. Russo so good at holding up the ball. Toon then plays it forward to Lauren James. The ball's behind her, she had to go back to collect it, and then Lauren James shoots from range, sails over the bar, but you could tell from that sound that Karen Barzi just made that it was very close.
Oh, I just love to see Lauren James strike a ball like this. We know how dangerous she is, and her eyes lit up when she saw how much space she found herself in. But again, this is what I like about what's happening on this near side to us, is Lucy Bronze is getting on the ball, staying on it, drawing the Portuguese defence across, and then exposing the space on the opposite side. So I think that's a pattern we're going to see tonight.
Best chance of this opening 10 minutes. Lauren James with the shot just over the bar. Hasn't played too much for Chelsea this season. She's been out with a calf issue. She did score a last-minute winner last weekend, though, against Everton in the WSL. She's a clutch player. She comes up in the big moments, and she is such a joy to watch. We spoke earlier about how she's one of the most raw, talented players in the England squad.
Yeah, she's phenomenal. I really enjoy watching her play, the way she glides on the ball, the way it just sticks to her feet, the way she can play cat and mouse with whoever she's facing. You know, she can turn them inside out, and she's a danger every time she's on the ball.
And England coming forward now. Clinton battling with Silva. It's now with Lucy Bronze. Into Clinton, takes her on the half turn. Ella Toone with the shot across goal. Couple of inches wide of that left post. Another good chance for England.
This is great from Grace Clinton, getting in the pockets of space. She's found herself in between 4 Portuguese players. She receives the ball on the back foot, and she recognizes that Ella Toone's on her way, and it's a lovely slipped ball. It's good timing from England.
It was given as a corner. When we look at the replay again, didn't take a touch off the Portugal player. The goalkeeper holding her hands up.
She's fuming.
Yeah. England corner comes in near post. Cleared at the first time of asking, and then hooked away by Jessica Silva. Collected, though, by that anchor in England's midfield, Kira Walsh. Park now, down the left-hand channel with Toone. England zipping the ball around really nicely. They look confident here in Portugal. Still 0-0. It's gone back to Niamh Charles. Another player that's missed quite a lot of this season, out with injury. And Millie Bright whips it out to her Chelsea teammate Lauren James. A Chelsea theme down that left-hand side. Millie Bright left centre-back, Niamh Charles left back, and then Lauren James left wing.
Yeah, there'll certainly be some familiarity down that left side for sure, but what I liked that was happening on the right side over here was Lucy Bronze was on the opposite touchline while that build-up was going on just before the ball went out of play. And Grace Clinton was finding some space but trying to join in the attack, and Lucy was like, no, drop off, you're too high. So already it's the England team working together, trying to make sure that they're in different lines, getting the best opportunity to get on the ball.
And England dominating the ball in these opening stages. Poor giveaway from Clinton in her own half. Silva then forces the foul, did well to put herself in between the ball and Grace Clinton, and then went down under the pressure. And it's a free kick for Portugal, about 40 yards from goal, but in that right-hand channel.
These are the fine margins, I think, that Sarina Wiegman will be slightly annoyed by. We've seen a few sloppy passes and a few sloppy decisions already, but you know, early on in the game, slightly new midfield, it's going to take a little bit of time, but this is a dangerous situation for England. It's greasy from a goalkeeper's perspective, and there's quite an aerial threat, some good height in this Portugal side.
So Portugal, free kick with England players lined up on the edge of the penalty area, and it comes in, it's a good delivery, and Lucy Bronze meets it first though. Really good header away from her goal. Jessica Silva now in the penalty area, but from a wide angle, runs towards the corner flag, lots of step overs, plays it back into the England penalty area, and just before Norton could pull the trigger, an England player with a tackle.
Fantastic tackle from Grace Clinton. That was very, very composed, manages to just get her right boot in there and just kind of poke it away from danger. But can we just go back to that wonderful header from Lucy Bronze? Does really well to get round the outside shoulder and get across the Portuguese player.
Lauren James with the long raking switch ball to Bronze. She touches it down to Park, goes all the way back to Williamson. Park on the halfway line tries to chip it forward for Clinton. Clinton went down under a challenge. Portugal regained possession. Slid down the line, and it can't be kept in by Andrea Norton. Out for another England throw-in. 0-0 the score, England. Two decent chances so far. Lauren James from range and Ella Toone from in the box. Both efforts off target, and then Portugal with half chance really from that earlier free kick. Jess Park in possession. The little Manchester City player wriggles her way forward, tries to play it into Rousseau. Inaccurate pass though, and Portugal clear downfield. Charles up against Silva, really good defending from Niamh Charles on the halfway line, getting there ahead of Silva, finding Kira Walsh.
It's not easy when you're up against a pacey player. You have to really get your body across their line to the ball, and Niamh Charles did phenomenally well there.
14 minutes on the clock On 5 Live, Portugal 0, England 0 in the Women's Nations League, the first game. England are playing, they're playing on Wednesday at Wembley against Spain, the reigning world champions, as Lauren James comes forward. Switches it out to Bronze, great close control from Bronze. Her ball whipped across the box and put in by Alessia Russo. England lead, really nice goal. Lauren James whipped it across to Bronze, Bronze with a delivery, and in by Alessia Russo. Portugal 0, England 1.
And it was fantastic delivery from James. She finds a space out wide, and she recognizes, no, the space on the opposite side, so she flings the ball over to Lucy Bronze, and fair play to Lucy, hits it on the half volley, and Alessia Russo finds the space across the two centre backs and just sends it home. It's exactly the start that England need. Oh, and a cheeky nutmeg as well through the keeper. She's going to love that.
The keeper's not going to love that.
Well, no, clearly not. She'll be furious, but no, Alessia Russo will be so pleased. It's just a simple tap home. You know, if we're being super picky, could she have put it in the corner there? But we're not being picky tonight. It's in the back of the net. 1-0.
A fantastic finish from Alessia Russo, the woman who's in form. Only Bunny Shaw has more goals in the WSL than Russo, and she's got England in front here in Portugal. Millie Bright knocks the ball out for a Portugal throw-in level with England's penalty box as Portugal try and react to going a goal down straight away. They've got the ball out on that far side. Good challenge from Lauren James, and then Russo tries to touch it round the corner one time. She's dispossessed. Portugal with the ball in the centre circle. That's a poor pass back though, and it's booted forward by Gomez.
What we've seen in the past is sometimes, you know, after a goal that perhaps England kind of sit back a little bit, don't kind of get back on the front foot, but no, straight away, the back four squeezing the line up. Jess Park and Alessia Russo and Lauren James are leading the line, and it's great to see. I love the enthusiasm on the pitch.
Really good hold-up play there from Alessia Russo, just inside her own half. Holding up the ball, being hauled down and getting the free kick. And that's an element that I've seen her improve a lot at Arsenal, her hold-up play, Alessia Russo. She's really, really good at that now. She backs into players and doesn't release the ball. She really does well to bring players forward with that hold-up play.
No, she does. She makes it stick, doesn't she? And I think it's because she's got the awareness. She checks her shoulder. She kind of knows where the defenders are before she receives the ball. She knows where the space is, so therefore her decision's kind of already made up, and it makes it easier for either her to roll the defender or link up play. So yeah, I would agree with you.
Portugal free kick. Let's go to the King Power though, where it's Leicester. Brentford just kicked off. Lee Blakeman.
It's 0-0, but what a start Leicester have made. Woyo Koulibaly making his first Leicester start, cutting in from the right, on his right foot, putting a shot. Good save Flecken at his near post. Tense atmosphere here tonight. Leicester need the win. 0-0 currently against Brentford.
England with a goal kick. Mary Earps to take. England leading Portugal by a goal to nil. Alessia Russo with the goal that's got England in front here. So Mary Earps over this goal kick. And of course, Premier League action all weekend. Tomorrow on 5 Live from midday, it's Mark Chapman building up to all the Premier League games, and the game at 3 p.m. Ian Dennis will be at the Emirates for Arsenal against West Ham. Also later, 6:45, Aston Villa, Chelsea in the Premier League. We've got full coverage of that on 5 Live, and the Six Nations as well. 4:45, Scotland versus England. Lucy Bronze throws the ball forward to Russo. Borges nicks the ball off her, then Park wins it back. Park now driving forward into the penalty area from a wide angle. Sprays it across goal, meets a red shirt. Kira Walsh tries to keep it alive, and Portugal hack it away. Some desperate defending really from Portugal, and it goes out for a Portugal throw-in on this near side. And let's go back to Lee Blakeman at the King Power.
Leicester 0, Brentford 0, but I tell you what, Flo, what a start we've had to this game. Another chance for Leicester. Jamie Vardy's just been played in. He's ran half the pitch, cut inside on his left, then his right, just the keeper to beat, and it was another excellent save by Mark Flecken to somehow keep this game at Leicester 0, Brentford 0.
Thanks, Lee. England 1, Portugal 0 here. Millie Bright in possession for England. England looking relaxed now, they're a goal up, but as you said, Karen, we don't want them to relax too much.
No, I think it's important that the ball speed is maintained, you know, really look to keep probing with the passes. Like, that's a good example of Grace Clinton receiving in between players and turning and linking up play.
One back by Portugal in the centre of the park. Lauren James, though, with the lunging challenge, gets the ball, took down Norton, though, in the process, and the free kick given Portugal's way midway inside their own half.
I think England can, you know, they need to take this into consideration around that Portugal are going to be looking to kind of draw fouls and break up England's momentum as well. So you have to concentrate a little bit more and kind of make sure that when you are in possession that you kind of use it to exploit and fatigue the opposition as well.
Armando plays it in field. Kira Walsh pressuring, it's back with Borges, and Portugal are forced all the way back by the England press to their goalkeeper Pereira, who fires it up to Silva. It's met instead by Charles, but Portugal regain it back with Norton on the edge of the centre circle, sprays it out to Silva on the right hand side. Silva's delivery in is a poor one, and again straight at Mary Earps. Portugal have gone in a couple of times, but their delivery's always been to Mary Earps.
Yeah, no, it wasn't the most clinical, but I do think warning signs through the midfield that Norton in particular in that central area, it looks like she's playing in a 10 role, is kind of just run through the whole midfield without being tracked, so warning sign there.
And let's check in at Turf Moor, Burnley-Sheffield Wednesday. Aaron Paul.
5.5 minutes gone here. Burnley 0, Sheffield Wednesday 0. First chance has come for the visitors. Michael Ahekwe seeing the ball fly towards it. He just stabbed at it on the volley from about 10 yards out, and it flew just wide of Trafford's left-hand post. Burnley boss Scott Parker suspended. He's watching them from the stands. It is 0-0.
Portugal in possession in England's half here. Portugal 0, England 1. Forward ball cut out by Lucy Bronze. Let's go to the other championship game that's going on at Ashton Gate. Hamish Marshall.
Halfway point of the first half, it's Bristol City 0, Middlesbrough 0. Two decent chances for Bristol City. Scott Twine just over from 30 yards, and Anis Mehmeti, he made space just inside the penalty area. His shot was just wide. Bristol City 0, Middlesbrough 0.
Thanks, Hamish. Free kick on this near side for England. Serena Wiegman comes out and rolls the ball into the path of Lucy Bronze. Despite the rain, it's a relatively warm evening here in Portimao. The floodlights on, small stadium, as I said, 3 steep stands, and then the stand behind the England goal completely flat with no fans there, as Jessica Silva does a lovely little trick in the middle of the park to pass it back to Borges, picks it up again. And then Niamh Charles comes forward, gets the ball, wins the free kick.
I didn't get to do many tricks when I was playing, but that was one of my favourites. Little, like, you step on the ball and then hit it with your back foot. It's just it's a cheeky one, that. But a sign that, you know, Jessica Silva is obviously feeling very, very confident, and she is a creative player and could still potentially pose a threat down England's left.
And a yellow card has been given to Katrina Amado. Late challenge on Niamh Charles. Niamh Charles just got to her ahead of the ball, stepped in front, and she looks in a bit of discomfort, Karen.
Yeah, no, she doesn't look terribly comfortable, does she? But it's difficult to speculate from here, and I certainly don't want to do that too much. But it looked like she just took a foot to the ankle. But I have a feeling that she'll be fine, but just take the time to make sure, I suppose, is the right thing to do.
Physio's on, checking on Niamh Charles. Midway through this first half then, Portugal 0, England 1. Serena Wiegman watching on. Won the Euros with England, of course. Took England to the World Cup final last time out. She really is a manager with an incredible pedigree. She also won the Euros with Netherlands, took them to the World Cup final as well. We really have lucked out with her, haven't we?
No, she's been absolutely tremendous for England. I mean, not only what we're seeing at the first team level as well, but how it's trickled down into the pathway and the structure for the England Lionesses with the 23s, and, you know, the talent that's coming through now. You know, it's fantastic, and she's certainly left a mark and a winning mentality.
Can she take England all the way again to defend their Euros title this summer in Switzerland? Leading Portugal here by 0-0, that Alessia Russo goal. This the first game of their Nations League campaign, a competition to win in itself, but also crucial in terms of World Cup qualification. As Mary Earps chips the ball forward to Charles, who's back up on her feet, has got space to run into, approaches the halfway line, goes square to Toon, who's in incredible form with Manchester United. She's kicked in the back of the leg, wins a free kick. 6 goals in her last 7 games in a United shirt for Ella Toon, wearing number 10 here for England, and that is a position where we've got quite a lot of players as well, so it's difficult to be that number 10, so credit to Ella Toon for getting that shirt and that position.
It's fantastic to see that the form that she's in at the minute. I did give her some stick because she obviously scored a hat-trick against City, and I just thought, you know what, that's not acceptable, but you know, she did it anyway. But no, I'm really proud to see the form that she's in.
A nice ball over the top for Russo, is cut out by Costa, the central centre-half in Portugal's back 3. And Lucy Bronze dries the ball in her shirt, throws it into Clinton. Gets it back immediately with her orange boots, finds Park. Small figure Park, but tricky. And she's won a corner for England.
She's incredibly skillful. She's really, really well balanced in the way that she moves. She's got great agility. But, you know, I always, like you say, we've got so many great midfielders. I do think she's better deployed centrally, but, you know, she does a great job on the right.
Yep, playing out on the front, on the right of a front 3, Jess Park. Usually see her more as a midfielder, as Ella Toon is taking this corner. It's towards the near post. Cleared out by Portugal. And Lauren James collects. So casual on the ball always, Lauren James. Makes things look so easy. Clinton now. 2 red shirts around them. She's been dispossessed by Jessica Silva, who urges players around her forward. She's got support in the face of Dolores Silva, but it goes off a Portugal player for an England throw-in. The move breaks down.
I think you can see the disappointment on Dolores Silva's face when that ball went out of play. I think the Portuguese know that they're not going to get tons and tons of attacks and opportunities to score. So Dolores Silva looked quite disgruntled when she realised that attack was over.
Forward ball to Lauren James on the halfway line. Dribbles back to Millie Bright. Finds Mary Earps. Portugal yet to really test Mary Earps. She's claimed a couple of crosses, not had to make a save yet then. We've played 27 minutes. Portugal 0, England 1. As Silva wins the ball, plays it on to Norton. Won back though by Clinton. England, Lucy Bronze with a bit of a careless pass. And it's won back by Norton now. She'll come forward. Up against Kira Walsh. Excellent defending from Kira Walsh. Wins it back, plays it into Russo. Just over the halfway line. Ella Toon now. Goes into Lauren James. Grace Clinton now, and England in the attacking third. They've got numbers forward. Lucy Bronze, chalk on her boots out on this right-hand side. England patient in their build-up. And let's quickly go to Leicester with Lee Blakeman.
Leicester 0, Brentford 0. Brentford have just had their first real chance of the night though. Aya with the cross, picked out Sharda at the back post. Fierce shot, blocked inside the 6 yards area. Cracking game this. Leicester 0, Brentford 0.
Thanks, Lee. Grace Clinton still in possession for England as they move it from left to right. The Portugal team in the deep defensive block. Just Jessica Silva and Diana Silva staying forward in the England half to try and catch England on the break should they get it. But it's all the way back at the moment with Millie Bright. She finds Charles. The Portugal players shifted up the pitch now, trying to apply a bit of a press, but Grace Clinton, lots of space in her own half, finds Bronze. First time pass to Park. Through to Russo in the penalty area, but wide. Russo off. Diana Gomez and out for an England corner.
Some really, really great possession there from England more generally in terms of the passage of play. They're really moving the ball confidently, particularly in these wide areas, shifting Portugal across and then playing the opposite side. But we're really going to have to see some better decision making in that final third in terms of cutbacks, because there's not enough bodies in the box for me.
Bodies in the box now, though, for this England corner. And the big centre-halves have come forward. Millie Bright in there as Ella Toon hangs it up towards the penalty spot, headed clear by a Portugal player, collected by Charles. She finds Bright. Kira Walsh now slides it back out to Ella Toon, who is standing in an offside position. Flag is up. Free kick for Portugal. Ella Toon not jogging back on side in time.
It was well marshalled by the Portuguese defence. I think that's certainly one thing they're very good at, is being organised and making it difficult, trying to compress the space where possible. Now, I mentioned, Flo, didn't I, about tempo and momentum. You can feel that it's kind of starting to lull a bit in terms of ball speed and things like that. So I'd like to see an injection of some more pace from England.
15 minutes to go till half-time. Portugal 0, England 1. That Alessia Russo goal the difference, as Ana Borges fires it off Lauren James out for a Portugal throw-in inside their own half. As I said, all the fans wearing these white ponchos to keep them dry from the rain. Plenty of Portugal flags being waved, though. The throw-in finds Jessica Silva, who just turns away from one England player, bodied by Niamh Charles. She wants a free kick. Referee not interested. Says that Niamh was aggressive in the challenge but won it fairly. And it's in the possession of England's goalkeeper, Mary Upps.
And England look very comfortable, don't they? It's, you know, they're just growing into the game, taking their opportunities when they come. Hopefully we'll see more.
Jess Park picks it up, tries to play it through the legs of a Portugal player. Back with Grace Clinton. Russo now driving forward. Toon wanted the ball played into her. On the edge of the box. Plays it back to Charles. Charles has got Lauren James to her right. James in the penalty area. Flicks it across goal, out for a goal kick, and that gives us a chance to go to Turf Moor. Burnley, Sheffield Wednesday. Aaron Paul.
16 minutes gone here. Another big missed opportunity for Sheffield Wednesday. Working the ball really well from left to right. It's picked up by Jedi Gassama. He plays the ball across the face to goal. And there's Stuart Armstrong, goal gaping, able to get his shot away just wide of the post, and a big sigh of relief breathed by Burnley. Burnley 0, Sheffield Wednesday 0.
But there's been a goal in the Premier League at the King Power. Lee Blakeman.
It's gone to Brentford. Leicester 0, Brentford 1. A scrappy goal. Brentford messing around with it on the edge of the Leicester area. Through ball, fell to Visser, who scuffed it into the net, clipped the post on the way in. Leicester 0, Brentford 1.
England on the attack again. James on the edge of the penalty area, tried to take on Amado, and she's dispossessed. Very rare you see Lauren James tackled successfully and fairly, but in that case Katrina Amado did very well.
No, she didn't. She set Portugal on her way, didn't she? But in terms of recovery, like, you want to see more from Lauren James, maybe forcing outside. Who knows, maybe Serena Wiegman wanted her to force inside, but those are the little details that mean a lot. Defending is about doing the right things at the right time as a unit.
Portugal win a free kick in the centre circle. Niamh Charles with a push in the back on Jessica Silva. 33 minutes played. England still a goal to the good, thanks to Alessia Russo. Ball out on that far right-hand side. It slid into Jessica Silva. Millie Bright for company in that right-hand channel out by the corner flag. Plenty of red shirts in the box. Pinto back with Silva. This is nice play from Portugal. In possession in England's defensive third. A little overplayed though by Silva, and out for an England corner, just playing too close to the byline.
It was slightly overplayed, I think, like you say, from Portugal. They're trying to support the press and, support the play by getting in better areas, and to be fair, spaces are starting to appear in between the English ranks.
Lucy Bronze now with plenty of green grass to run into. Holtz going forward though, finds Jess Park. And it's broken now for Portugal. Norton in the centre circle, loses out to Toon. And let's quickly check in with Lee Blakeman at King Power as well.
Leicester 0, Brentford 1. Leicester with an immediate response. Vardy's just been played into the penalty area left side, tried the shot. Another good save by Flecken to keep it at Leicester 0, Brentford 1.
Late challenge from Jess Park, and the Englishwoman is in the book, so a yellow card for that challenge there, very late on Joanna Marchal. Just looking at that again on the replay, she just lunged for it and then stepped on the toes of Marchal.
Yeah, clearly incidental, but the yellow likely could have been for the response to the referee in terms of not having any chat back.
Let's go to Ashton Gate, Bristol City Borough. Hamish Marshall.
Still goalless, but two decent chances for Bristol City in the space of a minute. Sinclair Armstrong with a curler from the edge of the box, just off target. Max Bird with a shot from the edge of the penalty area, parried by Mark Travers and cleared. Bristol City 0, Middlesbrough 0.
10 minutes to go till half-time here. Portugal 0, England 1. But the Portuguese are in possession until a poor pass from Dolores Silva, overhit from the captain, out for an England throw-in just inside their own half, and it'll be Lucy Bronze to take. We spoke earlier this week about her dual English and Portuguese heritage. Was approached by the Portuguese Federation to play for them. Thank God you play for England there, Karen.
Yeah, no, your heritage is important, isn't it? I mean, my heritage is American, isn't it?
From that accent, I couldn't tell.
No, I'm sure a lot of people are wondering why I'm commentating on England.
Mary Earps in possession for England. Finds Kira Walsh, lovely turn, and into Clinton. One back though, and then Pinto tried to dink it forward to Diana Silva, and it's just over her. A poor ball, really. England throw in. Let's go to Ashton Gate, though. Has there been a goal, Hamish Marshall?
Yeah, and the booing might tell you that it's Tommy Conway who scored against the run of play for Middlesbrough. A shot from Iheanacho was parried by Max O'Leary, and there was the follow-up from Tommy Conway, heading it home. Bristol City 0, Middlesbrough 1.
Portugal in possession with their captain. They go all the way back to Gomez, and let's go and check in at Turf Moor with Aaron Paul.
First big chance for Burnley, it's come from Marcus Edwards on his home debut here at Turf Moor, going down the right hand flank. He chopped onto his left foot, left the defender for dust, curled the ball in towards goal. It clipped the crossbar and bounced away. Big chance for the home side, 0-0.
Millie Bright's on the ball here for England. They lead Portugal by a goal to 0. Forward for Lauren James. Her heels are clipped. No, they're not, according to the referee. And Portugal will come forward, but plenty of white shirts back for England, and the ball forward looking for Jessica Silva is a poor one. And Lucy Bronze can play it back to Mary Earps. Earps forward to Clinton. Back in possession of the ball, Grace Clinton. And how do you think she's faring so far in that Georgia Stanway role, Karen?
I think she's had a great start, to be honest. I think she's finding spaces. We call these gates in terms of how you receive the ball in between two players, but she's doing that really, really well, breaking the lines of the pass, receiving on the back foot and linking up play, and then joining in as well. So she's looking to get forward. So I think she's been, she looks really comfortable tonight.
England in possession. They lead Portugal by a goal to 0 here on 5 Live. Coming forward down the left, England with James. Nice little pass to the outside of her boot to Charles. Plays the 1-2, and again, Charles steaming forward. Got white shirts in the box. Good dive in, slide in challenge from Anna Borges, out for an England corner.
It's great around the corner. We know that Niamh Charles loves to get forward, and she's more than capable. But it's great to see Anna Borges still playing, to be honest. She had a spell, I think, when I was still playing at Chelsea, didn't she? And, you know, she's a steadfast defender, never gives up on the fight. And she's proved that tonight on that right side for Portugal.
Won the FA Cup with Chelsea in 2015.
Oh, we are going back now, aren't we?
Going back to your time almost,
Stop
Karen.
it.
England corner, it's an in-swinger. And it's held, well, I was about to say it's held well by Portugal's goalkeeper Pereira, but she dropped it. Slid out for a goal kick, and I think it's going to be a free kick. Lucy Bronze was challenging her in the air, trying to get that. And let's look at that on the replay, Karen. Do you think this is a foul on the goalkeeper?
No. Just no.
And that's coming from a goalkeeper?
No, there's no union here. That's just soft. I think Lucy was obviously going for the ball, maybe tapped her on the way, but no, that's definitely not a foul for me. She's probably just a bit, this is going to be savage, but she's just a bit embarrassed that she dropped the ball, I think.
Hurt pride. Always a painful one, something that I sometimes suffer from, Karen.
I don't believe that for a minute.
Ines Pereira, Portugal's goalkeeper, back on her feet then, and she will have a free kick. And in the centre circle I can see the two Silvas, Diana Silva and Jessica Silva, the two forwards of Portugal, deep in discussion. They've looked a little disgruntled with some of the forward balls from their midfield teammates. Kira Walsh now on the ball for England, midway inside Portugal's half. A loose touch from Clinton, and it's won back by Portugal. Silva now, Diana Silva that is, in the centre circle, and Jessica Silva was making the run down the right. She couldn't be picked out. England win it back. 5 minutes to go till half time. Portugal 0, England 1 here on 5 Live. Lucy Bronze infield to Grace Clinton. England just playing it across their back four, and the back four, which is Niamh Charles, Bright, Williamson and Bronze. Is that Serena Wiegman's first choice back four?
Oh, there's a question. I certainly think it is.
But they've got a bit of defending here though, because Jessica Silva has it. Tries to play it through the legs of Grace Clinton, runs into the English woman. Wants the free kick, not given. And Niamh Charles lets it roll out for an England corner. Sorry, an England throw-in.
Should we revisit that comment? Okay. No, I certainly do think it's probably their strongest back line. Obviously, with Niamh Charles returning, she's been in good form.
Poor giveaway though from England, and the ball's played in. It hits Leah Williamson. Diana Silva with the effort. Was a tight angle. Couldn't wrap her foot around it, get it on target, but a bit of a loose moment there from England, and they let Portugal in.
Yeah, that was definitely the commentator's curse, wasn't it? I was just praising Niamh Charles's form, and then, you know, a turnover there in quite a dangerous area. So, Leah Williams may have actually gotten a touch on that as well. So, quite fortunate to be an England goal kick.
And there's been a goal at the King Power right here. Leicester, Brentford, Lee Blakeman.
2-0 to Brentford. The first goal was scrappy. This was absolutely brilliant. And Bumo played into the area right side, cut in on his left foot, curled it round Hermansen. Great strike. Leicester 0, Brentford 2.
Thanks, Lee. England in possession. A slide-in challenge from Borges. She's an expert at those on this slick pitch. Portugal's most capped female player. England have the ball though with Niamh Charles. She goes all the way back to Mary Earps, and England started very bright, very fast, but since taking the lead they've not had too many chances. Not really cracked open this Portuguese defence too much as Park battles for on the halfway line. Back to Leah Williamson, the England skipper. She fires it forward looking for Russo. Russo up alongside Gomez, who did well, but can only pass it out for a corner for England.
No, I think this is interesting because it's about managing the momentum of the game, isn't it? Like seeing the opposition off, you know, allowing them or making mistakes to kind of make challenges and things like that, allow the opposition back into the game, and you can feel that Portugal still have some belief and they still think they're in this.
And at 1-0 they are very much in this. 2 minutes to go till half time. Ella Toone on corner duty this evening, and she's over this one, but she's got Chelsea's Lauren James for company short if she wants that option. She instead fires it in. It's met by a Portuguese player and will be collected by Jess Park in the centre circle for England. Back with Millie Bright. 84 caps for England. And many more for Chelsea. Been a key part of that Chelsea machine that's won 5 WSL titles back to back. Williamson now forward to Toone, lays it off really nicely to Bronze. Space on the left hand side for Russo, but Bronze couldn't pick her out. Clinton now turns away and finds Lauren James on the corner of the penalty box. James has come right this time. England have got Portugal camped in their defensive third. Can they crack them open? Leah Williamson with the ball into the box. The header met by Russo. And Pereira with the claim. But I tell you what, Grace Clinton's shirt looked like it was being pulled there as she tried to get to that ball before the goalkeeper could clutch it. That looks like a bit of a penalty shout. No VAR, remember, here. But England perhaps a little unfortunate, Karen.
No, it would suggest that you're right, indeed, Flo. I think Portugal definitely got away with one, but what a lovely ball from Leah Williamson as well. There's a lovely floated cross into the area, and yeah, really unfortunate that wasn't given.
Excellent distribution is something that Leah Williamson is definitely known for. As Portugal's Gomez, the left centre half, has it. She goes back to Costa, another player with 100 plus caps. In fact, she's got 173 caps, the Benfica defender. Portugal, though, steaming forward now. The England defence opening up for them, and the ball across looking for Silva, blocked by Bright. 1 minute of injury time has been put up on the fourth official's board. Portugal whip the ball into the box, cleared by Williamson. Still, England can't quite clear the danger, though. Marchao finds the captain, Dolores Silva. Back with Gomez. 3 red shirts still lingering in the England penalty box. Costa now on the edge of the centre circle. Spreads it out to Diana Silva. Chalk on her boots. Plays it down the line for Pinto. And out for a Portugal corner, and there'll be just enough time to take this corner before half-time.
I'll tell you what, Portugal are looking dangerous. They look confident. You know, Tatiana Pinto is making some great runs to the midfield to try to get on the ball and break the England back four apart. And really, really needs concentration now from England in terms of taking control of the situation.
Portugal corner right at the end of this first half. England lead by a goal to nil. It's Marchao to take, and it's deep and curling, and far too deep and curling, and it rolls out for a throw-in. But that is the half-time whistle then. England getting their Nations League campaign underway. They lead Portugal here by a goal to nil. Alessia Russo with a really well-worked goal for England, who've looked pretty comfortable so far in this first 45 minutes. Karen Bardsley.
I would certainly say so. It's been a great start, very front foot, very aggressive. They took the game to Portugal and maybe kind of took the foot off the gas a little bit, started to get maybe a bit complacent here and there, but ultimately I think we're on the right side of the scoreline and quite happy to go in 1-0.
England on track for their first 3 points in their maiden Nations League game. Half-time, here it is Portugal 0, England 1.
So back to Portimao in just a moment. We're heading to the King Power first, though. Lee Blakeman, another goal.
The home sections are stunned into silence. The away end over on that far side, jubilant because it's Leicester 0, Brentford 3, and Bumo's scored one. He's now assisted one. Free kick from the left, swung in, great header by Norgard, and Brentford are running away with this. Leicester have not scored a home goal in the league since December the 8th, and they now need 3 to get anything from this game against a Brentford side who are looking to win 4 Premier League away games in a row for the very first time. Leicester City 0, Brentford 3.
Yeah, Leicester 2 from safety in the Premier League. Brentford hopping into the top half of the table. Our base, though, this evening, Portimao in Portugal, where it is England who lead the host by a goal to nil in their Women's Nations League opener. Being watched by Karen Bardsley. We've got Lucy Staniforth with us as well this evening, England and Aston Villa midfielder. Karen, I'll just come to you first, talking about a pretty assured performance by England, and I think also handling that stop-start type of game. I do wonder if we might see Portugal start to tire a little more in the second half, and that's where really England's forward players might come to play.
Yeah, no, I think you've hit the nail on the head, to be honest, because the Portuguese defence, the block, is doing a lot of shifting from left to right just because the possession's been so good from England. So I think, yes, we will see some substitutions as the game goes on. We will see some spaces start to emerge, which I think joyfully, you know, the likes of Lauren James, Jess Park will pick apart, you know, and I think there'll be plenty more opportunities. It's just now, how can we take the next level, the next step, and be more ruthless in front of goal? That's what I want to see. I really want to see that ruthlessness ruthlessness in front of goal.
Yeah, in fact, actually, Lucy, just looking at the stats, England having almost 70% of the possession in that first half, only 2 shots on target. I did like this message in, though, from Andrew on the BBC Live text this evening saying perhaps Arteta could check if Russo could play for the men as well tomorrow. And it is obviously touching on her brilliant form right now, but it's good to see her scoring again in an England shirt, because it wasn't too long ago that she was struggling internationally as well.
Yeah, I think the sort of form of Arsenal over the past few months has really given her the confidence to go into this game. And for me, she's just looked so sharp. She's so full of energy, running, chasing lost causes, and then obviously a really tidy finish. So I'm not surprised he's asking if she's available for the men.
And Grace Clinton looking quite like a Georgia Stanway-esque figure to me, Lucy.
Yeah. I think that Grace is so fearless. And I think that's what Georgia Stanway has in abundance too. So for her to step into this stage, she does not look overawed at all. And I think there's a really, really strong half from her.
So England leading 1-0 at the break in Portugal. There were losses for Scotland and Wales earlier. In England's group as well, we should say, Spain, the world champions, coming back from 2-0 down to beat Belgium 3-2. Those 2 late goals for them coming in stoppage time. Let's bounce around some of our other matches this evening then. Half-time in the Championship between Bristol City and Middlesbrough, being watched by Hamish Marshall.
And the visitors lead 1-0 with a curse of the former player hitting Bristol City on his first return since leaving last summer. Tommy Conway in the right place to head home a rebound after Max O'Leary could only parry a Kelechi Iheanacho's shot. It really was against the run of play. Scott Twine and Anis Mehmeti had gone close for the playoff chasers, and Mark Travers made 2 excellent saves in the Borough goal to deny Max Bird, including 1 in added time. But could this be the turn of fortune Michael Carrick needs after 4 defeats in a row? Bristol City 0, Middlesbrough 1.
And to Aaron Paul now at Turf Moor, Burnley against Sheffield Wednesday.
Burnley 0, Sheffield Wednesday 0. I can see now why maybe some people are coining the term boring Burnley, because it's Sheffield Wednesday who have offered all the attacking threat, having excellent opportunities through Armstrong and Josh Wind, as Marcus Edwards has clipped the bar for the home side in probably what's been their only attack. They're controlling possession, but it's Wednesday who look threatening on the counter. 0-0 here.
Aaron, thank you very much. So second half commentary to come in Portimao as England lead Portugal by 1-0. Northern Ireland are trailing in their match. Half-time, Poland 2, Northern Ireland 0. We're going to be in Riyadh very shortly to look ahead to a huge night of boxing tomorrow. But first, let's get the latest news here on 5 Live. It's 8:37.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
And with the headlines, I'm Richard Foster. A man who stabbed Sir Salman Rushdie, leaving him blind in his right eye, has been found guilty of attempted murder. Hadi Matar, who's 27, attacked the writer just before he went on stage at a talk in New York in 2022. Our correspondent Nomia Iqbal has more.
I was in court when Sir Salman himself took to the stand, and he went into vivid description of what happened that day, and he removed his glasses to show the jury how he'd lost his eye. It took them less than 2 hours to come back with their verdict. Matar will be sentenced at a later date. He's facing up to 32 years in jail.
Hamas claims that it's handed the body of the Israeli hostage Shiri Bibas to the Red Cross in Gaza. The aid organisation has confirmed that it's received a coffin and is taking it to Israel. It'll now be checked to confirm its identity. President Trump says Sir Keir Starmer and Emmanuel Macron haven't done anything to end the war in Ukraine. He made the comments in an interview with Fox News. The two leaders are due to visit Washington next week. Lisa Yasko is a Ukrainian MP, and she told 5 Live the recent US rhetoric has been upsetting.
You know, we want to end war, but we want security guarantees. We want actions. We want to know that the aggressor will not be able to attack anymore. Instead, we hear different statements that maybe actually aggressor shouldn't be called an aggressor just to please Putin. And I don't think this part is acceptable.
Apple's removing its highest level data security tool for customers in the UK after the government demanded access to users' data. Advanced data protection means only account holders can view things like photos or documents stored online. The chief of the Los Angeles Fire Department has been sacked over a handling of the recent blazes in the city. The LA mayor blamed Christine Crowley for staffing failures there. And doctors in Rome say the Pope is expected to stay in hospital for at least another week. The 88-year-old's being treated for pneumonia. Medical staff say he's in good spirits and in much better health than when he arrived.
This is the football story of the century.
It's pandemonium, it's ecstasy.
It's an authoritarian regime.
For the past 15 years, English football has been dominated by Manchester City. 8 Premier League titles, 6 League Cups, 3 FA Cups, 1 Champions League. And more than 100 charges.
Somebody turned up at the Etihad Stadium and effectively served papers.
I'm Clive Myrie, and this is Football on Trial, the Manchester City charges.
They believe they've got irrefutable evidence.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sport
with Katie Smith.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Yeah, it's 5 Live Sport this evening with me, Katie Smith. We are kicking off a bumper weekend of live action for you here on 5 Live across 5 Sports Extra as well. Second half commentary of Portugal against England in the Women's Nations League to come in the next few minutes. Some latest scores for you in the Super League. Warrington leading Catalan 6-2. You can listen to that one over on 5 Sports Extra. And Hull FC trailing Wigan by 10 points to 0. We've got some more football lines for you from earlier today as well. Some significant news lines from the Champions League. We had the draw from the last 16. When we found out earlier, Liverpool will face French champions Paris Saint-Germain in that round of 16. Aston Villa will play Club Brugge and Arsenal take on PSV Eindhoven. So the 3 English sides all on the same half of the draw, which means we could potentially see a Liverpool-Villa quarter-final with Arsenal potentially then awaiting the winners in the semi-finals, but no possibility of an all-English final in the Champions League. Elsewhere, Rangers have been drawn against Jose Mourinho's Fenerbahce in the Europa League last 16. Manchester United are going to be up against Real Sociedad and Tottenham face AZ Alkmaar. Chelsea will take on FC Copenhagen in the Conference League. So we are going to head to Saudi Arabia now here on 5 Live Sport in what's been called the best fight card of all time coming up tomorrow night. So 3 world title fights, 4 interim world title fights all on the line in Riyadh, and it's headlined by the undisputed light heavyweight rematch between Artur Beterbiev and Dimitri Bivol. The card, though, did take a bit of a blow yesterday. We had the news that Daniel Dubois pulled out of his heavyweight world title defence that would have been up against Joseph Parker. It was because of illness, but in stepped the DR Congo's Martin Bakole, who's now going to take on Parker. He's going to fight tomorrow night for that interim title. Let's hear from Joseph Parker.
It's all part of boxing and part of the journey. But I guess one opportunity goes away, another one comes. And we're fighting Martin Bakole, who's been waiting for a big fight. So let's get it on. Hopefully we can revisit this fight down the line. I want to be champion of the world. Bakole is the most avoided heavyweight, but I love to challenge myself.
Oh, right. One of my favourite bits of the evening. Let's head to Riyadh, shall we? We can speak to Steve Bunce. Hi, Bunsey.
Okay, Katie, I tell you what, you've undersold the chaos out here this week.
Oh, go on then.
Because in addition to Daniel Dubois being pulled out by the British Boxing of Control because he was ill, and then finding Martin Bakole, who, by the way, is still somewhere in the sky as we speak now, in flying Air Ethiopia, on his way to somewhere in the Middle East, where he will make his way from that place to us here. But 3 days ago, an electrician from Doncaster was working on a garage, putting in some special lights, and he got a phone call telling him, could he make the weight, because there was a world title waiting for him. So Josh Padley, who's from Armforth in Doncaster, he was the first ridiculous story of the week, and then Bakole is the second ridiculous story of the week. Can't you just send me on a sensible assignment so I can go do some taekwondo or something?
To be fair,
please?
You looked pretty busy yesterday. I saw they'd posted a social media video of you, hadn't they? The day in the life of Bunsey. It still looked pretty fun to me.
Yeah, you know what? I love this stuff. No disrespect. I love it. I mean, if it's a straightforward 2 men get together, you see them a couple of times in a week and they fight on Saturday, that's good. I love this sport. But I love intrigue. I love drama. I love some emotion in a story. And if there's twists and turns and fairy tales, I mean, an electrician from Doncaster who should have been working all week on this garage is now fighting in a world title fight on the bill. And Martin Martin Bacoli, who should have been at the park this weekend with his family and daughters, is instead making his way here on an aeroplane to fight for a version of the world title against Joseph Parker. I wish I could script lunacy like that. I really do.
But so what should we know about Martin Bacoli then? If he's someone that, he's labelled as the most avoided heavyweight in boxing, isn't he? And his weight is going to be a massive talking point because he's taken this on 2 days out, as you said, still flying over.
What we like to say euphemistically about Martin Bacoli, and they used to say it about me before I lost 3 stone, is he's a big boy. That means he's a serious big... Wait, don't laugh so hard if you don't mind me saying so. He's a chuckle so hard. He's a big old boy, Martin Bacoli. He varies in weight between about 19 stone and 22 stone. My gut feeling is, if and when he weighs in tomorrow morning, probably about 9 p.m. our time here, I think he'll be in about the 22 and a half stone category. He'll be about 3 stone heavier than Joseph Parker. What type of fighter is he? Well, I tell you what, he is the most avoided heavyweight in boxing at the moment. That's not a title we've given him in the last 48 hours. We've been calling him that on the 5 Live podcast for 18 months. He's generally avoided. 3 of his last 4 opponents have been unbeaten. I think he's entered all 3 of those fights with the intention of the unbeaten men adding Martin Bacoli's scalp to their record. Instead, he smashed them to bits, including the number 1 American, Jared Anderson, unbeaten in 17. Big fight in Los Angeles last summer. Bacoli walked through him, dropped him 3 or 4 times and stopped him in the 5th round. And that meant that no one's going to touch Martin Bacoli unless they have to. Well, guess what? 24 hours ago, they had to. They made the call. He got on the plane. It doesn't matter if it's taken him 3 planes to get here. He's got 4 or 5 great rounds. Strap yourself in on Saturday night because it's going to be unbelievable for at least 4 rounds.
I was going to say, Bunty, in one word, is this still the best card ever with everything going on?
Well, I'll tell you at 2 a.m. Okay. 2 a.m. on Sunday morning.
Great. Well,
it's a good card, Kate. It's a good card.
Wait. Bunsey, pleasure as always. 5 Live Boxing live in Riyadh, then on air from 7:30 tomorrow evening. Here's a segue I never thought I'd do. From Bunsey to Burnley. Let's head to Turf Moor. We've had a goal, Aaron.
Oh, gorgeous goal from Burnley. Burnley won Sheffield Wednesday 0. This one coming completely against the run of play. Although the Clarets have started to ramp things up in the past 5 minutes or so. And it's Marcus Edwards inside the box, receiving it right side of the area on his left foot. He's just jinked past the defender, Shay Charles, able to send him for his dinner. He slid off into the distance, opened his body up and just caressed the ball past the goalkeeper. Sublime skill from Marcus Edwards. Burnley's number 22. Burnley 1. Sheffield Wednesday now.
Back to the King Power, still in the first half. It's Leicester against Brentford. Lee Blakeman.
Oh, we've just nearly had a 4th. We have now got a 4th. It's been bundled in at the back post. Brentford are running riot, but has the goal been disallowed here? We're just waiting to see. It's going to be disallowed for a hand. That's the indication from referee Tony Harrington. Keane Lewis Potter put the ball in at the back post. Wisser played it across. Nearly an own goal by Fass, but as Hermansen makes the save off Fass, Keane Lewis Potter puts it in and it does hit his hand. Just before that, Sharda had headed against the post. Brentford, Katie, here are running riot. 2 minutes into the 4 added on at the end of the first half. Leicester 0, Brentford 3.
Lee, thank you very much. Just one other newsline to bring you. British number 1 Jack Draper in the tennis into the final of the Qatar Open. That's after beating Yuri Lehechka earlier. So he'll play Andrei Rublev tomorrow. Right, can England see it out? First game of 2025. The European champions opening up their Women's Nations League campaign this evening away in Portugal, leading by 1-0. Let's hand back to our commentary team. Former England goalkeeper Karen Bardsley and our commentator Flo Pollock.
Thanks, Katie. We've got underway. 49 seconds into this second half. Portugal have a free kick. England made a change at the break though. Lucy Bronze has been replaced by Jess Carter and Portugal have this free kick midway inside England's half. They've got plenty of players forward for it and it's chipped into the penalty area. Catching practice though, watched all the way by Mary Earp. So let me give you the lineup then for England. So Earp's in goal. Back 4 is now Charles, Bright, Williamson and Carter. Midfield 3 is Clinton, Toone and Walsh. And the front 3, Lauren James, Jess Park out wide. And down the middle, the goal scorer from the first half, Alessia Russo. No changes at the break for Portugal. Pereira in goal, back 3, Ana Borges, Costa and Gomez. I'll come back to that though, because England are coming forward now. Lauren James, always danger when she's on the ball, dribbling into the box, shoots with her left foot. Strong shot, strong save from Pereira. England corner. Karen Bartley.
Again, Lauren James, what a great start to the second half already, but lures Anna Borges towards her when she rolls the ball with the underside of her foot, the sole of her foot, and creates that little moment of separation and gets a shot off, and looks like it takes a nick on the way for an England corner. Or save even, indeed. I didn't even see that.
Corner swung in by James and caught by Pereira. It was actually a good stop by the Portuguese goalkeeper. It came very quickly. She hit it with real power. She's got such a great ball striking ability, Lauren James. She really manages to hit it with such power, with such little backlift.
No, I would agree with that completely. She hit it very clean. Good ball striking technique, as you say.
Half-time at the King Power, Lee Blakeman.
Leicester 0, Brentford 3. Brentford are running away with it. 1 up after 17 minutes through Wissa. 2 up 10 minutes later. A great curler from Mbumo. Then it was an Mbumo free kick headed in by Norgard to make it 3. Brentford have had 1 disallowed for handball. They've hit the post as well. Leicester booed off. Leicester 0, Brentford 3.
Thanks, Lee. It's also half-time at Turf Moor. The score there, Burnley 1, Sheffield Wednesday 0. England just win a free kick in the centre circle. Charles goes back to Bright. Williams, now Carter's playing a similar game to what Lucy Bronze did out on that far side, almost playing as if she's a right winger.
No, I would certainly say it's more of a wing-back position, isn't it? I think as soon as she came on the pitch, Jess Carter, she just, I don't know who she was speaking to, but she just made that hand gesture like, yeah, in behind, get high. So, I mean, she certainly set out her intentions early.
Playing in the NWSL now. Jess Carter played for many years for Chelsea. Now at Gotham FC, same club as Jessica Silva, who just presses Millie Bright. But good play from England to pass out from the back, and then knocked out of play by Portugal's captain Dolores Silva. 3 Silvas in the Portugal side, got to say their first names. Niamh Charles with the throw. 4 minutes into the second half. Portugal 0, England 1. Ella Toone wins a free kick, and there's a little bit of afters between Toone and the Portugal captain Dolores Silva. And in fact, the free kick's gone the way of Portugal.
Oh, she's just backed into her, Ella Toone. Like, she was just moving, that was all, and then Dolores Silva just collapsed beneath her. And to be fair, I think that's quite a soft foul, but need to be careful with these afters.
You had a little bit of a chuckle.
I did. I read her lips. I won't say what she said.
Not for the radio, not for 5 Live. So, Portugal free kick just inside their own half. Diagonal ball looking for the run of Amado. Over hit though. Out for an England throw-in. 5 minutes into this first half on 5 Live. They lead Portugal by 0-0. First game of their Nations League. The other 2 teams in the group, Spain and Belgium, played earlier today. Spain won 3-2, 2 injury time goals though. They were facing a defeat to Belgium, but managed to claw it back. England, of course, playing Spain at Wembley on Wednesday in the Nations League. Live coverage of that on 5 Live, of course. Lauren James on the ball for England. Puts her studs on it, rolls it back to Charles. Charles out by her own corner flag. England being pressed in here by Portugal. Good play from Millie Bright. Passing it across a goal, something defenders were told never to do, but nowadays, playing out from the back, you do pass across to a goal, and England have worked it out to the right-hand side with Leah Williamson.
Again, really comfortable possession. Looking for that direct ball with Jess Park in, but it's overhit. I feel like I'm doing your job, Flo. It's in the hands of the Portuguese goalkeeper.
We can switch for a bit if you like. Anna Borges now on the ball for Portugal, their captain. Her ball forward, disrupted by the challenge from Lauren James, and the legal challenge in the eyes of our referee Ivana Prochkowska. Free kick, Portugal.
I think in these situations where the game is very stop-starty, it's tough from a player's perspective. I can always remember being quite frustrated when the team was just playing for a foul and a whistle, because it just kind of kills your momentum a little bit. So the girls really have to concentrate tonight.
Jess Park now, really good run. Shimmies, turns away from a Portugal player, driving forward over the halfway line, past another Portugal player And out on the far side, couldn't keep it in though. Portugal throw-in, but a good run from Manchester City's Jess Park.
No, she's got plenty of space on that side, hasn't she, Jess Park? I mean, Portugal are playing more of a back three at the minute. They're really kind of going for it, trying to get a foothold back in the game. And they've allowed Marchao to kind of get more forward, and Diana Gomez has got her hands full with Jess Park.
Borges in possession for Portugal. Tries to play it down the line for Amado. Off James. England throw-in. Portugal's manager, Francisco Neto, on the edges of his touchline in the rain. In fact, the ball might need to be changed. He's rolling it between his hands, pressing it just to make sure it's the right pressure. Also gets a towel out. It's going to dry up the ball. Do a bit of a Rory Delap long throw. Opted not to. Thrown from Portugal after all that time is into Niamh Charles anyway. And England win it back. Jess Carter then takes the ball down really well. England with the ball in their own penalty area. Cool pass out from Earps. England trying to move the ball out of their own defensive third up towards the halfway line. Really good work there from Clinton. It's now Carter. Chalk on her boots on that right-hand side. Goes back to Williamson. And after that fast start to this second half, England a little slower in possession. A little more patient. Perhaps a little sloppy there. 8 minutes into the second half. Still Portugal 0, England 1. And Mary Earps yet to really be tested by this Portugal side.
No. Again, this is from a goalkeeper's perspective. You got to be thinking one eye, on ball transitioning over, and you have to be ready at all times. And I think these types of games, anything can happen. And I think she's going to be more busy in possession, obviously, but she has to be ready in case there's a sloppy pass and a transition in possession.
Magnificent diagonal pass from Millie Bright to Carter. England have the ball just inside their own half. Clinton driving towards the centre circle. It's now out with Park on the right-hand side. Russo running forward into the penalty area, and the slip ball from Park, overhit. Out comes the goalkeeper Pereira to smother that England attack.
Jess Park's getting a lot of joy on that right side. I imagine they're going to continue to keep trying to exploit Diana Gomez and Carol Costa. But listen, Carol Costa's an experienced centre back. She's really comfortable. She's happy to kind of protect that central area and organise. So, let's just hope that Alessia Russo can look to kind of keep getting in between the centre backs and create that space for the likes of Kira Walsh or even Ella Toon to get through.
Free kick goes the way of Portugal. Leah Williamson with a challenge on Diana Silva. I think Williamson saying to the referee that she made a bit of a meal of that challenge, but a free kick is given to Portugal. Midway inside England's half in this right-hand channel. Another chance for them to whip the ball in the box, and we can see two Portuguese players on the half in the technical area, so two subs incoming. But before that, it will be a free kick from Katrina Amado. Red shirts lined up on the England penalty area line. The ball is hit towards the back stick, and Niamh Charles just watches it sail over her head and out for an England goal kick.
It's good awareness from Niamh Charles, let that go out. Well managed, but I'm intrigued to see these next substitutions come out. We can see that Kika Nazareth is getting ready underneath us.
Yes, she's a player from a footballing perspective I'm excited to watch. Plays for Barcelona, really good player, but from an England persuasion, you probably wouldn't want to see her coming on to the pitch. She's Portugal's number 7. She's probably one of their most promising, if not best players at the moment. I was slightly surprised not to see her in the starting 11, but she looks like she is about to come on with Jacinto as well, so changes imminent as Jess Park does a really neat turn on the halfway line. Surging forward, knocks it into Russo. Russo on the edge of the box, tries to turn straight into Amado. Loses possession. England win it back with Carter. Carter waits for the overlapping run of Park. There is a Portuguese player down. England are not obliged to kick it out, but the referee blows anyway and brings on the Portuguese medical staff. 56 minutes on the clock. Portugal 0, England 1. Karen Bardsley.
But again, it was a great drive from Jess Park in that, on that right side for England, where she was just going at Diana Gomez again. And again, Carol Costa having to come across, and then that space for Alessia Russo to slip into. And it's just she's not quite been able to find that full rotation of turn to face up in goal. So is she going to have to start linking the play a bit more? But there were tons of Portuguese bodies around Alessia Russo there. And we can see some of the replays here of that unfortunate collision between Katrina Amado and Alessia Russo, and she looks like she's in quite a lot of discomfort.
Jogging off the pitch now with the physios. The referee will do an uncontested drop ball and return with a possession to England. The rain still teeming down here in Portugal. It's been a lovely couple of days, all sun, but England football team has brought the weather with them, pouring here in Portimao. As Silva picks the ball up for Portugal, tries to pass it back to a teammate and inadvertently knocks it out for a corner for England. A little bit of an untidy, scrappy passage of play last 5 minutes or so, Karen.
Yeah, I think we started to see some loose passes towards the end of the first half, didn't we, Flo? And I think at times, perhaps, are we just trying to force something that's not on.
England take the corner short. Lauren James from range. Didn't quite have her eye in, and it sailed over the bar. A couple of times Lauren James has had those efforts, but they've not quite been on target. Let's go to Ashton Gate, though. An update from Hamish Marshall.
Bristol City 0, Middlesbrough 1. Tommy Conway's first half header still the difference. One chance of note since the break. Bristol City's Scott Twine had a shot from 8 yards that was well blocked. The visitors happy to run the clock down. One player's been booked already. Bristol City 0, Middlesbrough 1.
Thanks, Hamish. Changes afoot then for Portugal, and they're making 3 changes. So Kika Nazareth is coming onto the pitch, as is Andrea Jacinto and Lucia Alves. And the players coming off for Portugal: Dolores Silva, Katrina Amado, and also Joanna Marchao. So Kika Nazareth then, or just simply known as Kika amongst the Portuguese fans and the Barcelona fans. They're number 7, wearing a little scrunchie in her hair. She will play in that number 10 position to try and pull the strings to this Portugal side that already are on the attack. Diana Silva played in the channel. She's got Jessica Silva in the box, if she can pick her out. The ball across, though, straight down the throat of Mary Earps.
It's very comfortable for Mary Earps, but look, I mean, I think the intensity level is just about to go up, so England need to prepare themselves for a bit of an onslaught. Kika Nazareth looked like she's starting a bit higher in that 10 position, and she's ready to press already.
Clinton shimmies away from her, though. Knocks it out towards Carter. Poked out of play for an England throw-in. So those 3 Portugal changes. 30 minutes remaining here in Portimao. England still leading by a goal to 0. That goal from Alessia Russo in the first half. That is the difference. Ella Toon takes the ball on the half-turn. Wonderful ball infield to James. Lauren James twisting, turning, returns it back to Toon, who then tries to thread it through for Russo. Cut out by Costa. One back again by Toon, and then hooked away by Borges. That's a poor giveaway, though, from Kira Walsh. It's a rare thing. That, and Diana Silva finds Jessica Silva. She's wide, though. No one around her, and she'll wait for reinforcements. Still on the ball, Jessica Silva finds Kika. Kika just edging forward, right of the England penalty box. Intricate passing here from Portugal. Back with Borges. She goes all the way back to the middle centre half. Costa on the halfway line. Portugal happy to have the ball for a bit. Pinto had a spell at Brighton last season in the Women's Super League. Still in possession, Portugal, but England still in the lead. That 1-0 lead. And that's a poor ball into the box over here, and Leah Williamson runs it forward and actually manages to pick out a pass in Jess Park rather than just clearing it. Park lets her down, though, by losing possession. Portugal on the ball, dinked forward to Kika, just on the edge of the centre circle. No one's closing her. The England players were reluctant to get too close to the Barcelona starlet. It's then played forward looking for Borges, but good tracking back from Lauren James, good defensive work from her. England can't get out though, it's still with Portugal. It's now Jessica Silva. She plays it across for Diana Silva, and then a push in the back from Jess Carter, which is a little bit dangerous in the penalty area. Gets away with it. Portugal's still in possession, and they're having a bit of a spell, Karen.
No, they are. They've also changed to a back four here. I think Lucia Alves has gone to left back, and that's allowed Kika Nazareth to kind of pull the strings a bit more in central midfield. And Jacinto is really getting involved as well.
Portugal fans are behind their side now as well. Chant of Portugal going round the stadium here. They can feel that their side are building something. Can England hold Portugal back and keep the lead that they've got? They lead by a goal to nil. Portugal with a throw-in out by the corner flag. It's into the substitute Jacinto. Big black hairband in her hair, turns away, passes it to the edge of the box with Pinto. Pinto then finds teammate Machao, who then dinks it into the box. Jessica Silva up against Lauren James. Lovely little Rabona pass in, but doesn't quite come off. And she's so tricky on the ball, Jessica Silva.
No, she's so skillful and she's so confident, which you like to see in these moments, but it certainly helps when they actually come off, and they keep maintaining possession. But yeah, I certainly couldn't have done a Rabona.
England with the throw-in. Lauren James will leave it for Niamh Charles in front of Francisco Neto, the Portuguese manager, who's just gesticulating to his side, organising them. Charles's throw up to Russo. And let's quickly go to the King Power with Lee Blakeman. Update at Leicester.
Leicester 0, Brentford 3, second half just underway. Leicester making a double change at half-time. Steffi Mavadidi and Yannick Vestergaard coming on for Woyo Koulibaly and Bobby De Cordova-Reid. Big second half this for Leicester. Big second half for Ruud van Nistelrooy. Brentford have brought on Jarmel Juk for Norgard at the break. Leicester 0, Brentford 3.
Thank you, Lee. 26 minutes remaining. Portugal 0, England 1. England just had a bit of a foray forward. Portugal have it back, and they're having a moment in this game. Can they capitalise from the possession and the pressure that they're building? Mary Earp's yet to really make any saves, has claimed quite a few crosses. Portugal on the attack now. Jacinto over the halfway line, shrugs off Kira Walsh, and that is a free kick because she didn't quite shrug her off. The momentum was slowed, and Kira Walsh is going to get a yellow card for that. She just grabbed hold of Jacinto's arm and hooked her back, and that is a yellow card.
No, it is, and perhaps it was one of those moments where she knew where the danger was and she was just going to have to slow the game down. And it's a professional foul in terms of killing that transitional moment. But to be honest, Jacinto never really looked like she was in control.
Portugal 0, England 1. But those changes from manager Francisco Neto have made a real difference, have injected a bit of urgency into this Portuguese side. The free kick, flat one, straight into the box, headed out by Williamson, and her headed clearance finds Park. Park trots past the Portuguese defender, wins the free kick, and it's going to be a yellow card as well, and it is Tatiana Pinto in the book. Exact same challenge really that Kira Walsh did, so the referee has to give a matching yellow card. Quite a few cards have been handed out now. Game's getting a little scrappy, a little broken up.
Yeah, and this is a test, isn't it? As a player, you're thinking, I just want to play, I just want to get the ball moving, and it's really frustrating sometimes. And sometimes this is part of a game plan, from a team like Portugal that maybe doesn't have the same sort of quality. How do we stay in the game? How do we frustrate the opposition? And perhaps, these petulant fouls is the way.
Millie Bright, diagonal ball, trying to pick out Carter on the right-hand side in the halfway, and that sails over the Gotham FC defender, though, and Portugal have a throw. Plenty of football action across this weekend on 5 Live. Tomorrow at midday, build up to all the Premier League games with Mark Chapman 3 p.m. We've got full live coverage on 5 Live of Arsenal, West Ham, Six Nations as well at 4:45, even Scotland, England, then later Aston Villa, Chelsea as well. Portugal on the edge of England's box with Diana Silva, and Lauren James leaving her to go mark Ana Borges instead, and it's a good decision because she's won the ball back. Lauren James right out on the byline though of her own penalty box, runs towards the corner flag and hooks it away downfield. Russo will battle with Pinto. Pinto wins it though, and Portugal again in possession and in charge of the ball as things stand. England in charge in terms of the scoreline though. Portugal 0, England 1. 67 minutes played here in Portimao on the south coast in the Algarve in Portugal. England playing on Wednesday at Wembley against Spain. Full coverage of that, of course, on 5 Live. Bit of a loose pass back to Liam Williamson, who helps it on to Earps, who hooks it long. England just struggling to get out of their own half, though, at the moment. Pinto chests it down really well. Plays it square to Norton. Norton up to Silva. Silva plays it back to Norton, and the Portuguese will opt to keep the ball.
Well, I'm just seeing the distances from this Lioness press. It looks like they're just arriving ever so late, and they're just kind of getting played past a little bit, so it's making it difficult to squeeze up the pitch. And at one point Alessia Russo was pressing in isolation. Now it's Ella Toon, and you know it does kind of encourage the opponent to keep on the attack.
Diana Silva now into the penalty area, tried to dink it into that 6-yard box across from an angle to find her strike partner Jessica Silva again. Alert goalkeeping from Mary Earps.
That was good. She was on the front foot, Mary, again, always being in two minds. If play breaks down, am I in a position to defend the goal, and start some transition. But yeah, England need to kind of claw some momentum back here now.
All the momentum with Portugal. They trail by 1-0. England fans to the left of where we're sitting in the corner with their rainproof white ponchos on, looking on, not making too much sound. All the sound coming really from the Portugal fans. Below us, they've got a drum they've been beating all game. They're shooting towards a stand that is all Portugal fans, although quite a few empty seats. I think the weather put quite a few people off as we approach the final 20 minutes here at Portimao. Costa with the ball forward, looking for the run of Borges, who pushes into Charles. Her ball across. It's a bit of a scramble, and Carter clears it, falls for Kike on the edge of the box, and a free kick's been given though. In that scramble, the referee believing there was a foul on England defender, and England will have a free kick in the penalty. And rather fortunate, Karen.
Fair play to the referee for recognising there's a tug on the shirt and the shorts there on Jess Carter from Jessica Silva, because it looked like England were really struggling to clear their lines.
Play together at Gotham FC, Jessica Silva and Jess Carter. Not too many players in the England setup that play abroad. Esme Morgan on the bench also plays in the NWSL, but I believe all the players on the pitch, bar Carter, play in the Women's Super League. Lucy Bronze, Kira Walsh back in England after their stint with Barcelona. They're both playing now for Chelsea. Portugal's captain Borges on the halfway line, rolls it back to Costa. Let's go to Ashton Gate. There's been a goal between Bristol City and Borough. Hamish Marshall.
And it's an equaliser for Bristol City. We're tied at 1-1 with just under 20 minutes to go. George Arthey, on loan from West Ham, from close range after a quickly taken free kick was laid back to him. Nicely finished. It's Bristol City 1, Middlesbrough 1.
Throw in for England, and Serena Wiegman is in front of us, having a bit of a discussion with Lauren James and Ella Toon, but Mary Earps has gone down and just stretching out her leg. That will give a little bit of time for Serena Wiegman and her coaching staff to give the players some liquid, get them on board and give them some further instructions. I think the Portugal fans here feel it's a bit of a momentum breaker. Tactical decision though from Mary Earps, and there's a few whistles ringing around the stadium.
No, I think this is definitely a tactical one from Mary Earps. It's always a bit embarrassing from a goalkeeper's perspective to have to go down when the ball was nowhere near you. But what I imagine is happening is Serena's probably telling them, we need more rotation in the midfield. We need more movement to kind of create the passing lines that anyone in the back or anyone on the pitch anywhere needs to get on the ball a bit more movement, shifting across, getting round, but just the basics, like tidy up.
And in this break and play, there's been a chance at Turf Moor between Burnley and Sheffield Wednesday. Aaron Paul.
Huge chance. That Burnley clean sheet record, which stands at 11 consecutive games, well, it is creaking somewhat. Wednesday hunting for an equaliser. It is Burnley 1, Sheffield Wednesday 0. Josh Windass at the byline, able to pick out Stuart Armstrong. Left-footed strike, drilled in towards goal. Good save by the keeper. Not sure if it took another deflection of someone else on its way out behind goal, but my word, that was close. Burnley 1, Sheffield Wednesday 0.
Mary Earps still receiving treatment on the pitch, so let's check in on the only Premier League game this evening. Leicester City Brentford. Lee Blakeman.
Leicester 0, Brentford 3. Ruud van Nistelrooy doing all he can from the side of the pitch to try and get his team back into this game. He's just brought on Facundo Buonanotte to a huge cheer. Buonanotte goes bursting into the penalty area here, penalised for a foul. Ayew makes way for Buonanotte. Leicester though, Flo, still with it all to do here, trailing at home to Brentford by 3-0.
Cheers, Lee. Mary Earps back up on her feet, then stretching out her leg, and she looks, as we suspected, fine. So she will carry on. England with the throw. Alessia Russo can't keep it in. And Portugal's Ana Borges will take the throw in, although you can see a Portugal change in the offing, and it looks like it's going to be Ana Capeta who's coming on. She's a player that plays alongside Diana Silva at Sporting Lisbon, and a player that we were quite interested in seeing, so let's see how she gets on. So Ana Capeta on for Jessica Silva, so that means that the two strikers for Sporting Lisbon are now both playing up front for Portugal, so two players that know each other very well, Karen.
No, indeed. I think they combine really well together. They're obviously a threat. I think they've both been very, very successful at club level, already bagging a few goals, and then a handful at qualifying as well. And what I wouldn't be surprised is to see Kika Nazareth joining that front three as well from time to time. So a bit of work for Grace Clinton and Georgia Stanway as well.
Portugal in possession. Not seen too much actually of Kika since coming on, the Barcelona midfielder. Played over 20 times this season for Barcelona, and getting in that Barcelona side is very, very difficult, so you have to be a really quality player to do so, so that's credit to her. On the ball now though, Kika driving forward, Clinton's trying to pull it back into the penalty area. Kika Nazareth finds the top corner. Fantastic finish from Kika, and she gets Portugal level, and the substitutes are on the pitch celebrating, and the Portugal players run over to that corner where the fans are as well to celebrate in front of them. Pereira, the goalkeeper's over. This is a big goal for Portugal. They're really lapping it up and enjoying it. Portugal 1, England 1.
And it's a lovely flick from Capeta into Kika Nazareth, and she just gets the wrong side of Grace Clinton. She just turns her, and then she's on her way, and Grace Clinton needs to be careful about any sort of fouls, can't touch her. And the goal is just gaping open, but what a lovely finish from Kika Nazareth. She really shapes her right foot around the ball and just spins it, just out of reach of Mary Earps, just underneath that top left stanchion.
Just as I was saying, she hasn't really been in the game, Karen.
The commentator's curse, Flo. Stop that, will you?
Yeah.
No, but fair credit to Portugal where it's due. Some really lovely combinations, an element of direct play from that left-hand side of Portugal. But we spoke about complacency. We spoke about taking your foot off the gas, and England have been punished for it.
14 minutes remaining. Portugal 1, England 1. And in this second half, Portugal have looked the side with more energy and more enthusiasm to get forward. England on a back foot a bit, really. Charles wins a free kick, pulled back by Andrea Norton. And Charles will just slow it down. Will Serena Wiegman turn to her bench? In fact, I think she will, because I can see Chloe Kelly stripped off, warmed up and ready to come on. She wasn't in the original squad, brought in for the injured Beth Mead, who had to drop out. It'll be interesting to see how she affects the game when she comes on. England have a throw-in level with Portugal's penalty area, won well by Alessia Russo. And we did talk about this ahead of the game off mic, Karen, about how actually England are missing a lot of key players. No Beth Mead, no Lauren Hemp or Georgia Stanway. Between those three, there's 72 England goals. That is a lot of goals.
Yeah, I certainly didn't really think about it from that perspective until you mentioned it, off mic, and that is a handful. I mean, that is more than a handful. That is so impactful in the success of this England side.
They're coming forward now, England, though. Niamh Charles overruns it well. Marshalled out of play by Borges.
So I think if I can, going back to that point, you wonder, don't you, where the goals are going to come from, because they're so impactful in terms of England's success, and you think, it's a big hole to fill, and you do kind of hope that the girls are going to be ready by the time the Euros come around. But I still believe in this team. I still believe there's plenty of quality.
There's been a goal at Turf Moor between Burnley and Sheffield Wednesday, Aaron Paul.
Absolutely. Burnley 2, Sheffield Wednesday 0, and this is a fabulous strike at the near post for Burnley. And I'll tell you what, it is absolutely brilliant from Josh Burnley at the near post. The ball just swept into him, and he's just able to guide it past the goalkeeper. Burnley 2, Wednesday 0.
Thanks, Aaron. When we were at Turf Moor, Grace Clinton brought down Kika and received a yellow card. And we spoke ahead of this game about how Grace Clinton's having a bit of an audition for that Georgia Stanway role. But since Kika's come on, Clinton struggled.
It's not just that, though. I think you have to point out the fact that, it's a 2v1 situation she's up against now, whereas, before it was just 2v2 or 1v1, and she's getting overrun by Kika Nazareth and Jacinto in the midfield, and that's difficult in the best of times. And Kika Nazareth is a fantastic player, so it's a difficult introduction to that position for Grace Clinton in the second half.
England changes then. Aggie Beaver-Jones and Kelly are ready to come on. They're not going to come on quite yet, though. Portugal take free kick. Pinto back to Costa, the centre half, with 173 caps for Portugal. She dinks it forward. It's met by the big Millie Bright. Picked up then by Kika, who goes back to Gomez. Gomez under pressure from Russo. Hooks it out for a throw-in front of where these England substitutes will come from, and still not ready to make the changes, England. But they do need to change things up here if they are to get 3 points. We've got 10 minutes remaining on the clock. Portugal 1, England 1, and Portugal look the side in the ascendancy.
No, they really do. England are, being forced out to play wide by this Portuguese press, and they just need to find a way to find Kira Walsh and link up to the midfield a bit more, but they're dispossessed again.
One back well by Russo, though. Park now dinks it forward, looking for Toon. Borges stepped across her, took the ball off her foot and clears it. It's been a goal, though, at Ashton Gate. News of that from Hamish Marshall.
And Bristol City have turned this around to lead by 2-1, and the hero is substitute George Earthy. He's got both goals. The second one, a free kick from Scott Twine inside the D, came back off of the crossbar, and Earthy was there to follow up. It's Bristol City 2, Middlesbrough 1.
England looking to change things. Beaver-Jones and Chloe Kelly on the sidelines, ready to come on. The ball, though, is in the gloves of the Portugal goalkeeper Pereira. She bowls it out to Gomez. It's now with Borges. Plays the ball down the line for Diana Silva, who's managed to find space between Charles and Bright. Silva back to Norton, infield to Kika. She finds Jacinto. It's back with Kika, who shoots. Great last-minute block from Leah Williamson. Out for a Portugal corner, but Kika is running the show now for Portugal.
She really is pulling the strings. And again, it's that link-up play and a cheeky Megs from Jacinto right through the legs of Grace Clinton. But what a godsend Leah Williamson was in that moment to block that shot. England are very, very fortunate at this moment in time. And they've got a corner to defend now. Still those England changes yet to be made. Never want to make a substitution when you're defending a corner. Referee blows the whistle. Portugal fans behind Pinto, who's taking the corner, raises one arm up, signalling the routine that they're going to do. Plays it all the way back to Borges. She then hooks a straight ball forward into the box. Claimed well by Mary Earps, and that routine wasn't really a great one. And there's a Portugal player down in the box. It's Diana Silva holding her head after that routine, but I don't think that's quite what they intended from that set piece. No, it was. It looked like when the ball was cleared and Leah Williamson was just trying to run back into her position that the two collided. Hopefully, Diana Silva is okay.
So those England changes are now being made. Jess Park and Grace Clinton coming off, and coming on Chloe Kelly and Aggie Beaver-Jones. As we said, Chloe Kelly back in the side, and she's a player that will offer a little bit more width to England than Jess Park. Well, she's more of a natural wide player, natural winger. Obviously signed for Arsenal in January. That was the big news. Wasn't getting game time at Manchester City. Seemed a little frozen out by Gareth Taylor. Wants the game time so she can get back into this squad to defend the Euros with England in the summer. She scored the winning goal, of course, in the final, so she'll want to be there, won't she? And do you think she will?
Do I think she'll be in the final?
Yeah. Do you think she'll be in the squad for the Euros?
Yeah. No, listen, she's going to put her best foot forward, and this is the first step along the way, but she certainly impressed me. You know, that 30-minute spell she had at Arsenal in the North London Derby. And I think she's more than capable. We know what she's capable of doing. It's the deliveries. Now we just need to see the consistency.
And I'll leave you to keep an eye on the shape and the way that England have changed things here. Aggie Beaver-Jones also on. Only 2 caps, actually, for England. Not really used much by Wiegman. Plays for Chelsea. Doesn't always get in their starting 11. But when she plays this season, 5 starts in the WSL, 5 goals. So she knows how to deliver and score a goal. Still a young player as well. Still only 21 years old. On the ball now. Back to goal. Dribbles back and plays it all the way back to Leah Williamson.
Yeah, I really like Aggie Beaver-Jones. Every time I've seen her play at Chelsea, she's always, you know, really, really dangerous. But, you know, now she's going to have to offer something defensively to the side as well.
6 minutes remaining. The score's level. Portugal 1, England 1 on 5 Live. Football all this weekend across 5 Live, including full live commentary on Sunday of the big game in the Premier League at 4:30, Manchester City, Liverpool. Earlier that day on Sunday as well, 2 p.m, Newcastle United, Nottingham Forest. And the game tomorrow that we've got is Arsenal against West Ham. But Kika in possession for Portugal, and when she's on the ball, the crowd's sound raises. Borges now out on the right, up against Charles, tries to play it through her legs. Kelly wins it back. Substitute for England, plays it off the foot of Silva, who's back on after that head injury. And it's a throw-in for England. 5 minutes remaining, and hard to see how they're going to get back into the lead at this stage.
No, I think we're going to have to see a lot from Alessia Russo in terms of holding the ball up and linking play. And that was an example of it just not going quite according to plan. I believe Carol Costa just stood in and made it really, really difficult to get any sort of control for Alessia Russo.
This is another thing that we spoke about earlier in terms of attacking options. In the previous major tournaments, we had Ellen White and Alessia Russo, 2 really quality options. We don't massively have a backup for Russo. We'll come back to that, though, because Diana Silva is 25 yards out from England's goal into Jacinto. Goes back, though, to Costa. Costa finds Jacinto. That's a nice move. Borges now whips the ball across low. Met well by Williams, and Jacinto's in the box, shoots low again, blocked by a white shirt, Niamh Charles that time, and England will try and break. Up to Beaver-Jones, sets it back to James. This is better from England trying to break. And Jess Carter, though, slowed down, wins the free kick, and a chance for us to go to Turf Moor and an update at Burnley-Sheffield Wednesday. Aaron Paul.
It's the third for Burnley, game over here, and this time it's Connor Roberts in on the ad. Jaden Anthony, gorgeous ball into the corridor of uncertainty, and there was Roberts to tap home with the goal gaping. Burnley 3, Sheffield Wednesday 0.
3 minutes remaining here in Portimao. Portugal 1, England 1. England attacking with Charles. Her cross finds Chloe Kelly, who couldn't quite, Aggie Beaver-Jones couldn't quite connect with it. Claimed by Ines Pereira.
Well, the opportunities are going to come. You know, they're getting some joy already, England, down this left-hand side for them in terms of getting crosses into the box. We just need to get more bodies in the area and be a bit more clinical when the ball does come their way. Just focus on the connection, put it on target, work the keeper.
Pensive Serena Wiegman watches on. Portugal, the better side in the second half. That's when they got their goal. England, the better side in the first half. That's when they got their goal. And they're coming on the attack. Borges edging towards the box, slides it forward, and there is Leah Williamson to cut it out before Norton could latch on. The game's becoming transitional now. It's stretched. Either side could nick a winner here. The ball is spread out to the right. Carter puts her studs on it, passes back to Williamson. Williamson with the diagonal pass to Charles in the left-back position for England. She finds Chloe Kelly up against Borges. Kelly infield to Walsh. Walsh takes it on the half-turn, spins away from Kika, her former teammate at Barcelona. Millie Bright then spreads the play. England are trying to move it from left to right to try and create some gaps in this Portugal defence. And they go all the way back to Mary Earps, who's about 25 yards out from goal. She finds Charles on the halfway line. Charles's ball forward isn't really a great one, and it'll be swept up by Ines Pereira in goal for Portugal.
No, you're right. I mean, the opportunities again are coming down this left-hand side, but they're just not being gotten on the end of, so to speak, in that wide channel. And I think I was just thinking there about what we've seen. You know, we've seen a really bright start, and just the momentum sort of fading into the second half, and then England are vulnerable to a quick switch of play, and they've been struggling to kind of break down a low block. And these are a lot of the themes that we've seen.
Norton for Portugal slides it into the right channel where Silva is. Red shirts in the box. Silva goes back to Norton. Bright's been dragged out to the left-back position. It's with Kika. She goes back. Let's check in quickly at the King Power. Lee Blakeman.
Leicester 0, Brentford 3. Couple of other Brentford chances. Yarmolyuk's just had a flicked header save. Wissa's just put one straight across the face of goal. I don't know what the weather's like in Portugal, Flo. It is absolutely hammering down here in the East Midlands. Leicester 0, Brentford 3.
It's not quite hammering down, but there is drizzle here, Lee, which is disappointing. You come to Portugal, you come to the south of Europe for the sun. We've come for the football as well, of course. But it is raining here, and England being held 1-1 against Portugal. 4 minutes of injury time have just been put up, so we've got 4 minutes remaining here for either one of these sides to try and nick a winner. As things stand, Spain will be top of the group. They overcame Belgium earlier today, beating them by 3-2. England playing Spain in Wembley on Wednesday. Live coverage on 5 Live. Williamson now carrying the ball forward, passes over the halfway line to the right side where Carter slides it in, looking for Beaver-Jones. Flag is up for, I believe, a foul from Beaver-Jones on the defender. And Beaver-Jones and Chloe Kelly, the two substitutes, haven't really had much of a chance to make an impact, really.
No, they've not really had much of a chance to get on the ball at all, have they? I mean, a lot of the stuff that we've seen in terms of deliveries have been into space, not necessarily to feet in those wide areas. And yeah, Portugal are making it really difficult to play through the midfield. And we look, I mean, Kika Nazareth obviously played with Kira at Barcelona as well, and they've just got each other in their pockets.
Scrap for the ball in the middle of the pitch. Free kick given for a challenger, I believe it's Ella Toone. No, it's Kira Walsh, in fact. No, recorrect myself, it is Ella Toone. I should have known that because she was wearing red nail varnish. That feels like a very Ella Toone thing to do. She was kneed in the midriff.
That's being polite, Flo.
So, a change then for Portugal right at the end of this game. On comes Andrea Faria, replacing Diana Silva. 2 minutes of the 4 added on remaining. And England here with a chance to lift the ball into the penalty area. Lauren James over this free kick. It's 15 yards inside Portugal's half. From the right, the side at which England are attacking. Lauren James lofts it towards the penalty spot. And then it falls for Russo, whose shot is a shanked effort, but headed out for an England corner. So another chance for England to get the ball in that penalty area.
Again, these opportunities are absolutely crucial, and ultimately we need to see this converted. There's a lot on the line here.
Lauren James over this set piece. Again, her ball in, and the header from Williamson, claimed by Ines Pereira, the Portuguese goalkeeper. It was a good connection from Williamson, but she just couldn't direct it far enough away from the Portugal goalkeeper.
No, to be fair, she actually connected with that really well. It's quite a distance out from goal as well, but yeah, it was nice and tidy from Ines Pereira.
Her long ball finds its way all the way back to Mary Earps, who hits it up looking for Bright, who's stayed up for England. Millie Bright, top goal scorer at the Arnold Clark Cup. Still up front for England, lays it off to Toone. Toone now on the edge of the box, shoots from range, but tripped. Didn't quite get her shot off, and it rolls through, and Toone has her hands aloft, screaming at the referee, saying that she should have had a free kick. And again, a little bit of afters between Toone and some of the Portugal defenders. It's not going to be a free kick, and the seconds are ticking away.
No, I believe it was Diana Gomez that managed to just, I don't know if it, just pull Toone's foot away from the ball as she was looking to strike, because it was certainly uncharacteristic of Ella Toone.
Ball knocked out for an England throw-in in front of Serena Wiegman. Charles takes it quickly, headed out by Borges. Norton. England have it back on the left-hand side with Chloe Kelly. She just about manages to keep it in. Runs straight into Borges. Kika now. Out comes Leah Williamson. Great tackle from England's captain, England's centre half, and she's following Kika all the way back into her own half towards a penalty area, just making sure the Barcelona forward can't get the ball anywhere near England's goal. But there is the full-time whistle then. England held in Portugal. They took the lead on the 15th minute. A really nice finish from Arsenal's Alessia Russo. First half, England looked very comfortable. In the second half, though, the Portuguese made some changes, including Kika Nazareth of Barcelona. She came on, scored a wonderful goal, struck into the top corner. England couldn't get back into the game, and it's finished here, Karen Bardsley. Portugal won, England won.
It did. Again, great start from England, really front-footed, but it just seemed to slip through their fingers as the second half started, and they struggled to break down the mid-block. They struggled to play through Kira Walsh in the midfield, and ultimately really, really fortunate that there were a couple good blocks from Leah Williamson, but just need to really have that really killer instinct, that edge in front of goal. And I wonder, with Lucy Bronze coming off, if that's something that Serena Wiegman will be looking to regret.
England unable to get their UEFA Nations League campaign underway with a win. They've been held here at Portimao. Portugal won, England won.
So we are on with you until 10 o'clock this evening when Stephen Nolan takes over. We'll be back in Portugal in just a moment to deep dive into that one. England held to a 1-1 draw then in Portugal in their Nations League opener. Let's head though to the Championship. Full time between Bristol City and Middlesbrough. This one watched by Hamish Marshall.
And the home side have won by 2-1, and they're into the Championship playoff places thanks to 2 goals in the last 20 minutes from substitute George Earthy. The first for the West Ham loanee following a cross from fellow sub Yu Hirakawa. The second, a follow-up after Scott Twine's free kick came back off the bar. It's a deserved 6th win in 7 home games. Borough had led through Tommy Conway, who really enjoyed scoring against his old club. Well, certainly if his goal celebrations were anything to go by. But it heaps yet more pressure on Michael Carrick. A 5th straight defeat, just 3 points from a possible 21, makes the playoffs look a long way off for Borough.
So it finished Portugal 1, England 1 in the Women's Nation League opening match for the European champions, who in 2025, in just a few months' time, this summer in Switzerland, England's Lionesses are hoping to defend that crown that they won in 2022. And we're going to try and dissect that performance. Went ahead early on with a goal from Alessia Russo, but pegged back in the 75th minute by Kika Nazareth. So it finishes Portugal 1, England 1. Alongside me to go through all of that, our commentator Flo Pollock in Portugal with former England goalkeeper Karen Bardsley, and Lucy Staniforth joins us as well, England and Aston Villa midfielder. Karen, you watched that game out in Portugal in miserly, dreary conditions, and you've got to say there's a little bit of kind of pathetic fallacy there from what England then showed us on the pitch in the second half particularly. It was a real momentum shift, wasn't it, from the first half into the second?
Yeah, it was a shame. I think they started out really brightly, England, and I was really excited about the things I was seeing, but they kind of just didn't continue to happen. I think Francisco Neto was very clever with some of the changes, especially the substitutions that he made, and he managed to kind of nullify any major threat. England, obviously the first goal came from a great switch from Lauren James recognizing where the space was out to Lucy Bronze, and Lucy Bronze put an absolute elite cross into the box and found the Alessia Russo on the end of it. And we didn't really see much more of that quick play, the switching of moving that defensive block of Portugal. And then once those substitutions were made, Kika Nazareth and Andrea Jacinto were just running the show in the midfield.
Yeah, momentum's a word I think we're going to use a lot tonight, Lucy. And actually, one moment that I think you can always seem to define with England when the momentum does always seem to drop, and it shouldn't, is when Lucy Bronze is taken off. Now, she was switched at half-time, and she brings she got the assist for the Russo goal. Brilliant pass in, wasn't it, from the right? But that's worrying for England, that we're seeing this continual pattern that they seem to start so brightly, but they can't hang on.
Yeah, I think when you take Lucy, for example, and in the case of the second half, when England tended to be pinned in their own half, she's the type of player that drives you up the pitch, would possibly get you into the Portugal half and give you more opportunities to put them in uncomfortable positions. I don't think we saw enough players able to do that. I don't think we got the ball into dangerous enough areas to be able to, like I say, cause Portugal more problems than they caused us. And I wonder if that's the sort of experience in those moments when momentum shifts. Obviously there's a lot of young players on that pitch, albeit there is experienced ones too, but if you bring in the likes of Lucy, Beth Mead, even someone like Alex Greenwood, having that nous in the game to understand how to wrestle back the momentum is so important.
Yeah, you mentioned apologies, you mentioned there a couple of the key players missing, so Greenwood, Hemp, Georgia Stanway not there, Beth Mead as well, all out with injury. Did you think then, Lucy, for you, that it was those key kind of experienced heads that they could have had more of an impact on this game tonight, particularly when England conceded the goal? It went to 1-1. They had 15 minutes left to play, and that's when you need a game changer.
Yeah, I think when it's going good, you're obviously happy, but when the sort of chips are down and you're being asked to defend for long portions of the game, perhaps those players, especially someone like Lauren Hemp, who can turn a long ball into a chance. It just gives you more opportunities to get higher up the pitch and, like I say, put Portugal in really difficult positions. So I think, especially in those moments when you sort of go in for a winner and hanging on in a game, I think that's where your experienced players really come into play and can make a big difference.
And Flo, you mentioned it actually in commentary, the fact that Alessia Russo has been in recent great form with Arsenal since the takeover there and the change of manager. and Renee Slegers came in. Great to see her score again. But actually, if you look at the backup options that England might have going into the summer, if Beth Mead, hopefully back in the fold, we're not quite sure what that injury is. We don't think it's a long-term one, but then you've got the likes of Nikita Parris, been in great form at Brighton so far this season, has that England experience. But then Chloe Kelly, who's really lacking minutes. So where is that backup for Russo? Because then you have the problem that she may end up playing so much that she's going to get pretty fatigued.
Yeah, it does feel like there's a lot of pressure on her shoulders as England's number 9. And as I said in commentary, before we always had Ellen White and then Russo. Ellen White would start, Russo would come on, and that felt like a really good option. And I don't want to be disparaging around Nikita Parris, because she's an excellent forward, but she's also doesn't always play as an out-and-out number 9. She can sometimes play as a wide player. There's Bethany England as well, who wasn't called up to this squad. She plays as a forward, central forward number 9, so she's an option as well. But I do worry about Alessia Russo. If she got injured, I think we'd be in real trouble.
Right, we're going to head straight down into the tunnel, actually. George Cummins with Millie Bright.
Thanks, Katie. Millie, some of your thoughts on the game tonight?
I think a game of two halves, really. I think, first half, I think we had better quality on the ball, a little bit more control. But yeah, I think lots of work to be done. Obviously, never happy conceding a goal, and especially I think in that manner when it was preventable. But listen, they're a strong team. They tested us definitely tonight, and yeah, I think there's lots to work on, ready for the game on Wednesday.
So much control, wasn't it, in the first half? Are you disappointed in the way that you've probably let the game get away from you?
Yeah, 100%. I think, listen, when it's just 1-0, you keep a team in it, and the longer it stays 1-0, the more the opposition get confidence and, tired legs out there towards the end of the game. So yeah, I think we definitely need to be more ruthless in front of goal and take our chances, because as we know, the game is so competitive. So we need to create a few more, I think, as well. But essentially, when we do get those chances, we've got to put them in the back of the net.
How do you think the team's performing at the moment? Is it fair to say you're a little bit maybe inconsistent? Is that fair?
Yeah, listen, I don't think we shy away from that. I think we're the first to analyse our performances, and I think consistency is something we need. A few changes within the team as well, and first game getting back. So yeah, I think lots of work to be done, but I think main thing is we didn't lose the game.
Just in terms of, you're one of these senior players, so what will you say to I know you're staying in the Algarve another couple of days, but what will you say to the players when you speak to them? Because you've got a huge game now against Spain, haven't you, on Wednesday?
Yeah, listen, we need to be confident. It's we didn't win the game, but equally we didn't lose the game, and I think you have to draw out the positives from the performance, and listen, it's small margins in football, so if we make those tweaks, I think it takes us to another level. So I just think it's about getting back on the pitch, putting the hard yards in, but yeah, just lifting our quality a little bit. Like you said, staying a little bit more consistent, but listen, you need encouragement. You can't be beat by one game mentally, so you have to stay strong, work hard, and yeah, we always want more from each other anyway.
Well, look, thanks for joining us. Appreciate your time.
Worries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Millie Bright there with George Cummins for us live in Portugal, being listened to by Karen Bardsley, Lucy Staniforth with us as well. Karen, we talked right at the top of the evening about consistency, and I mean, great to hear Millie Bright talking about accepting it, being honest, isn't she? And she's saying, yes, we know we are being inconsistent, but how do they start becoming consistent? Because that was the problem at the end of 2024. It feels like a fresh start, and all respect to Portugal, and I really think these teams have improved massively. England outranked them so formidably that they need to start laying down these markers, surely.
No, I do think there needs to be a bit more of a bite in the performance, have that confidence of being, the current defending European champions, and kind of play with that freedom, play with that, like I said, that aggression, and going, no, we're going to take this game to you. That's something.
But they had it in the first half, didn't they? It was that 1-2 touch football, pinging it about.
Exactly. No, there was, and that's it. Is like, that's the frustrating thing, I think, for me, is we certainly know what the girls are capable of doing. We see it in glimpses, but I wonder why we can't sort of put a comprehensive performance. Hence the question that you asked. But I'm glad that Millie Bright is being honest and saying that yeah, we know we've not been as consistent as we like. I certainly think we tend, when I watch the game tonight, I see that England don't tend to do the things that are working. So sometimes they'll play an amazing pass, a quick combination, and because it's direct, it's kind of like, oh, I don't know, like, should we keep doing that? But yeah, you should, absolutely. You're getting joy. You need to keep getting that joy and take advantage of that situation until, you know, the opposition do something about it. And I just didn't feel that. And fair play to, you know, like I said, Francisco Neto, he's done well in bringing on the substitutions. He went to a back four, was very clever about how he managed the threat. And I think, you know, there were times where we just needed to be a bit more tidy on the ball and just have a bit more variety in how the girls are playing.
Was there frustration for you, Lucy, that the changes from Wiegman came quite late on? It was 84th minute that Clinton and Park came off. Kelly and Beaver Jones come on, you know, fresh legs, potentially a different type of creativity. But it was left so late, whereas you look at Portugal, Kika of Barcelona brought on fairly early on into that second half and was a complete game changer.
I suppose frustration, but perhaps it's sort of something that we already know was coming with Serena. I think that she likes to stick with what she knows.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing new, is it?
No, it's sort of the way that she operates, isn't it? Is she kind of trusts the players on the pitch to get over the line and do the job. Yeah, I think it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because the likes of Nikita Parrish, it's not like she's a new young player coming in. She's tried and tested. She's got an abundance of caps and is in really good form. So I don't know. I think the substitution that she made were fair, but I think there was definitely room for different people. And like KB said, I think we're probably getting in this cycle of doing the same things quite regularly with this team, and perhaps it's just about having a bit of a plan B up your sleeve as opposed to sticking Millie Bright up front when these moments come and when we need to wrestle back a bit of momentum.